shoots and scores!
Puckett swings and hits a blast. Deep left center, way back. Touch 'em all, Kirby Puckett.
Lob it to Garnett, beneath the foul line. The fadeaway with a hand in space in the air for the win! Yes!
This is Sidelines on your Sound and Sports Alternative, KVSC.
Well, welcome back to Sidelines, the best part of my morning where I get to sit down with the four of the KVSC boys. We got one new guy with us today. He's actually with the UTVS part of the show. We got Falcon here with us. We also got Thomas, Andrew, and of course AJ is back with us. But guys, compared to last week when I think the sports world wasn't on an ultimate high with the World Series going on, the Cubs winning, this week, I don't know, it just didn't kind of seem like a lot was happening. I mean, there obviously was happening, but before we get started, I do want to, we have school off today, and I want to say a special thank you to all of our veterans out there, wishing everyone a happy Veterans Day, and to all of our men and women out there who have fought for our country. Thank you. So I wanted to get that in before we got started, but I want to cover a topic we don't cover very much, and that's the Minnesota Wild. Beating the Penguins, my team that I know you guys think I'm a bandwagon. I love Sidney Crosby.
You are.
I know.
Yeah, you are.
Just wait till I tell you what my favorite college basketball team is.
Oh, Lord.
What do we see in that game, hockey boys?
Well, I mean, going into last night, in the last 45 games at home, the Penguins were 36-5-4. That's an unbelievable record at home. And the Wild come in there. They get a quick one, and then it was just back and forth play the rest of the game until we got that empty netter by Pominville at the end of the night. And I'm going to say we because obviously I'm affiliated with the team. But
Assistant coach AJZ over here.
Pretty much. But no, I mean, the Wild are looking good. Through 12 games, I want to say they have their second or third. I mean, they've played 12 games compared to like 14, I believe, Chicago, and the Blues have played so far in the season. But they're
third
still,
in the Central Division.
Yeah, third in the Central Division. I mean, they're playing good hockey. I like what I'm seeing. Devin Dubnyk is kind of holding it down in net, and that's good for them. He is really streaky though, which is something that always is going to keep me on the edge of my seat. But when I look at the offense, you have everybody kind of getting into it. Zach Parise, he's been hurt, so a lot of guys have been stepping up lately. Eric Stahl, I think he's performing a lot better than people anticipated. I mean, he already has more goals so far this season than he did in however much time he spent with the Rangers last season. I like what he's doing. He's really exceeding my expectations for sure.
You can tell that he's confident when he's on the ice. He's winning his faceoffs. He's shooting very well, something that a lot of people didn't expect. Everybody said, oh, Eric Stahl is just going to come here and going to pass the puck, but he's done very well so far.
Now, I want to bring up one comment that the Wild coach said. I have it on my phone right now. He said, Sidney Crosby, he's the best player in the world, and to be the best player in the world in any sport is the biggest challenge. And do we really think Sidney Crosby is the best player in hockey?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
and I got to ask why. Why do you guys think that? What makes him so good? I just want to hear. I think he is too. I just want to hear your perspective on it.
the man is the son of God.
What does this guy do so good?
I mean, he's
everything.
His work ethic is unbelievable. His hands are filthy. His shot is hard. It's accurate. That's everything you want. And I think the biggest thing about him is that he's a great leader.
Yeah.
He's also very underrated passing the puck, which is something he doesn't get a lot of credit for.
Is he though?
I like to think so.
Well, I mean, what is he, like a 2 or 3 time Hart Trophy winner? I don't think you're underrated. I don't think his passing ability is not underrated for sure. And I mean, when you look at it, and I hate to use this as an example, but if you play NHL, his player type is a playmaker. So I mean,
AJ, are you telling me? Are you a gamer?
Just chill.
Just chill. You're one of those guys that love playing. I want to learn. Will you teach me someday?
Maybe another time.
Never played shell. Come on.
I heard that you learned the game really well that way, so I might have to
sometime
take that up on you. What?
For sure.
So you're saying, Curtis over here, excuse me, Falcon, you got so many nicknames, I don't know which one to call you. We'll stick with Falcon on this show. How about that? Falcon, so you're saying, what are you saying about Sidney Crosby?
I think that he is one of the best, if not the best player in the world. I like to think that Patrick Kane's kind of up there. Maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a Chicago fan, but everything that he brings to the table, you can tell by the way he leads his team. Team Canada, year in, year out, he's the captain. He's one of the best, if not the best player on that team.
All right. Well, Another cool note that for our audience to know if they don't know that, but his sister plays for SDSU hockey team. She's a goalie, and we actually did a feature on her a couple weeks ago. And when I was talking to her, we didn't really ask her a ton about her brother, but the first person she brought up about their family and the atmosphere of hockey is her dad. And her dad, I guess, was a huge goalie, in which why she
Played
was a
for
goalie.
the Canadiens, didn't he?
He did. Yes, he did. Yeah. And so I guess I thought that was cool. I mean, we didn't even ask her about her brother, but the first person she brought up was her dad and how great of a player he was and how many, I guess goalies are weird, she always says, and he has a lot of weird things that he does, and she became a weird goalie, but it was a cool feature, and if people ever saw that, it was a good one. But I want to talk about Montreal Canadiens staying undefeated at home.
So, I mean, like, the Canadiens, they're an extremely good team. We talked about this last week. How they needed Shea Weber. They got Shea Weber. They got some leadership on that team. They got some centered around that strong power leadership. And now it's up and down the lineup. They're all participating. They're all playing good. It's kind of like how Nashville was last year, where everybody hits, everybody plays, and they got some good scores at the top, but it trickles down throughout the lineup. And I mean, that team's going to be good at home all year, especially with Carey Price. That absolute blowout when they lost their first game to Columbus was
embarrassing.
He let in 10 goals.
That was embarrassing. And
Well,
Al Montoya came in too.
He let in 6, and then Price.
No,
let in
Al
4.
Montoya let in all 10.
No, he
Yeah.
didn't.
No.
Yeah, he did.
I started
it up.
him on my fantasy team.
There's no way they kept him in for 10 goals.
That's
okay,
what-
I'm looking that up.
Falcon, we got
How
you
did
on
he
here
not- how
for a
did he-
reason. Get
That's
some
what I
stats
saw
going.
on the stats was he let in all 10.
All right.
How did he
For
not?
Al
How did
Montoya.
he not demand a
How do you
trade?
not get pulled?
Pull
Patrick Waugh 2.0.
Hey, one cool thing I read about the Montreal Canadiens is they had Jack Nicklaus. He was in their locker room giving them a little pep talk before the game. I'm a huge golfer, and that's always cool to see a golfer give a pep talk to a big team like that. But before we get too much in hockey, I want to transition into some NBA basketball. Timberwolves, guys, they got their first win on the road last
did.
night. I don't know if you guys were watching.
It was exciting.
It was exciting.
They're looking like a team. They played like a team last night that could actually win more than 40 games, I would say.
I would say exactly the same thing. They played like a team.
But it's hard to say that after Andrew Wiggins can score 36 on the road against Brooklyn and they still lose. So it was real two different stories those nights. But that being said, I think Thomas said it before we actually hopped on the air. They're leading the league in 3-point percentage. And
Yeah, over 40%.
yeah, I think it's like 414.
Yeah, 414. And Sam Mitchell said last year that they don't have 3-point shooters, so they can't open up a
It's
shot.
because they didn't have Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Well,
Tibbs time.
Well, I mean, they're young, and they need to find an identity. And if shooting threes is going to be it, because they've been pushing for this, get to make the threes, pushing for 4 or 5 years now to find somebody who can shoot a 3-ball consistently and make that 3. And Kevin Martin wasn't it. They went through more people. They just keep going through players, and they couldn't get one. And finally, they have like 5 that can shoot the 3-ball.
Right.
And now it's like we got to find an identity, because you can't just shoot up 3 or just keep shooting threes, because
Because when you have a bad shooting night, what happens? You're going to get blown out.
40, yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
even Golden State, they have more than just the 3-ball. They
Yeah.
have that motion offense.
Exactly.
and-
Well, and my question is, too, is I've been a big basketball fan my whole life, and I've never really seen a great Timberwolves team. When is this team going to be great? I mean, I feel like we've got the players. Is it the coaching? I don't know. I'm just wondering why this team never is a great team.
It really comes down to the aspect of all rebuilding teams, because the
Yeah.
Timberwolves, they've been rebuilding for a long time.
Like 13
Probably since
years.
2004.
I feel like
2004.
since I was born,
2004.
they've been rebuilding.
Yeah, and this is finally the team. They have all of the young talent, but the thing to remember is they're still not quite mature yet as players. Most of them were drafted out of college as freshmen.
Right.
They're guys that you still give them maybe 2 more years to learn Thibodeau's defense, to learn the mental aspects of the game of basketball, and then that's when they'll be a really good team.
I was going to say, give them probably 3 more years, let them all grow up a little bit, let Karl Anthony Towns become one of the best players in the NBA.
History.
And then
I mean,
see where they're going to
He's
do.
gonna be really
They
good.
got big names on their team. I guess you're right. We'll give them some time. I feel like Minnesota has a hard time of waiting for their teams to be good. We want to be the big. We want to be the
We've
big
been
guys.
waiting for a long time.
I know.
I hear
It's
they're
our
still
turn.
waiting with the Twins as well.
I don't-
We've been waiting for everybody.
I don't think they're going to be a team that can do anything in the next few years, honestly.
Okay, well,
with the way in the track record of Minnesota sports, something's gonna happen. We're gonna trade somebody away, or somebody's gonna have a career-ending injury.
I know.
We're gonna be bad. We're gonna
Pessimistic
continue.
Minnesota fans.
Minnesota's cursed in
We
the
will be
sports world.
rebuilding to the year
have
like
to.
2024.
Towns is going to quit.
Something's gonna happen.
Like, I'm done.
All right, guys.
It's not gonna work
Another big thing. Dwayne Wade. He returned to Miami in a Chicago uniform. He got a standing ovation. I thought that was awesome. After having 13 seasons playing in Miami, plays in Chicago. To me, I thought it was very weird seeing him in a Chicago jersey.
I mean, it
was different.
I've gotten used to it. I mean, I don't know. It's for me, when people go to different teams, it's not a big deal. I mean, I know everybody's making a big deal about the Kevin Durant one, and Russell Westbrook can just grab some tissues and cry about it. But I'm so sick of him. But Dwayne Wade, he's a fan favorite. Everybody loves him.
Everyone loves
And you
him.
saw it last night. He got I mean, he played 32 minutes. He had 13 points. I think he had 7 rebounds, something like that.
Yep.
But I mean, he got a standing ovation at the end of the game, and that just shows if you leave your team, and you can come back, and something like that happens. It may have not been the smartest decision, but you left that kind of impact on there. When Kevin Durant leaves Oklahoma City and they burn his jersey, I think that's a sign that says you did the right thing.
You're killing me today.
No,
I know. I agree 100% with you.
I mean, with Dwayne Wade, too, there's so much history in Miami. He was pretty much the guy who started that whole Big Three consideration.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
convinced
12-time
LeBron and Bosh to come
12-time
there.
All-Star, 3 NBA champions.
He's the second best player ever to play for Miami, the first one being LeBron.
I wouldn't count LeBron
I
in on
wouldn't.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there for 4 years.
Do you want to count
Yeah.
career players?
Yeah.
Well, guys, another thing they were talking on SportsCenter this morning, which I thought was kind of funny, just because you just said LeBron James, but they were discussing who was the best who was going to be the best NBA player in 2017, and of course the discussion went to LeBron James, of course, and Stephen Curry. Are these two going to be the names that we hear all season long?
No, Russell Westbrook is the best player in the NBA. He does more than LeBron and Curry do. Curry he's overrated. He shoots threes. He's not a good defender. LeBron, he's really good. I'll give him that. But Russell Westbrook, at this age, at this point in his career, is a better player right now, where LeBron and Curry are as players. Russell Westbrook is better.
Well, he has to be. His team has no one. And his team has...
My bad.
That's all right. That's all right.
His team has no one on his team, and he's been doing this his whole career, though. He's good. I'm not going to deny that.
And
he is very good.
I think he's really good too, and I think sometimes what they put into perspective in these things is to win. You know, I think they look at who has the most wins, who gets their team to the top. That kind of is a true winner. I think Westbrook has an opportunity to do that. I think he is definitely a name to keep, you know, in the books.
He's doing it right now. They're 6-2.
But I got to disagree with the Stephen Curry thing. For a guy his size, if you look at his arms compared to Westbrook's arms, I don't expect him to get defending as much as Westbrook, but to shoot a 3 with his size, how many points he carried, he's doing pretty good. Yeah. I'm a big Steph Curry fan, so I'm going to be on his side.
When you talk about the best player in the NBA,
Yeah.
he has to be a two-way guy. And
I agree.
Curry is not a good defender.
And I would say LeBron James then.
LeBron, when he's won championships and when I'll give him that 1 year with Cleveland where he took a team of scrubs to the finals.
2007, I believe it was.
Yeah, something
against
like
San
that.
Antonio.
And 2 years ago.
But recently,
Well,
how
yeah.
has LeBron gotten to the finals? He's gotten
Right.
to the finals with the big three, with Kyrie and Love. I don't know.
I know. I think everyone's kind of over the LeBron James. I think he's a good guy, but
It's James Harden for sure.
Oh.
James Harden. James Harden is averaging 30 points per game so far with 13 assists so far this season. That's impressive. Yeah.
Remember when we were talking about defense and people who can't
That's
play
impressive.
defense?
Yeah.
I
James
believe
Harden
that.
literally just stands on the other side of the court, and he's like, here, pass me
it
the
is.
ball.
Yeah,
there's always one in that crowd.
he's a point guard in a Mike D'Antoni offense. He's gonna get assists. Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to move
Well,
on.
when you look at what he's done in the
All right,
past,
now-
I'm sorry.
AJ, it's
I just
okay.
wanna
You
extend
finish
this
your
thought real quick.
statement. You finish your statement.
When you look at what he's done the past years moving to this year, the guy's averaging a double-double right now easily. 30
It's early.
points per game. And you want to go ahead and throw Russell Westbrook in there?
He's averaging a triple-double.
He's not even shooting 80% at the free throw line.
Well,
Are you kidding me? A guy who's, 6'3"? He has to be hitting those shots. Those are crucial points.
He hits over 80 every other year.
But
all right, I'm
but
breaking
we're
this
talking about
up.
this year.
Sorry,
MVP
boys.
is the current
You can
year.
kill me for it later. But we're going to move on to some college basketball. I'm a big college basketball fan. And I got to say, in a sports world, college basketball, if you think about it, they have to compete with so many big games every year at the start of their season. They have the World Series. It's always going on. The NFL, the NBA, college football final critical weeks are going on. But on this show, we're going to make this local, that this is starting today. Men's basketball starts, and I want to make it big on this show because who do you guys think my favorite team is? Since
Duke.
I'm
Kentucky.
You're gonna be a big no. She's
for
gonna,
the
Middle
audience who
Tennessee
doesn't know,
State.
I'm a huge. Apparently, I'm just the biggest bandwagon
You are.
person ever.
like you're not even like the person who buys a ticket. You're the person who you yell all aboard, and then you're we're off to the races. That's you. You drive the band.
I'm the driver of the band. So I gotta ask then, who do you guys think that I'm gonna say it is the team that I have going?
It's Duke. There's no way
Middle
it's not gonna be
Tennessee
Kentucky.
State.
Who do we think? Duke?
It has to be Duke.
Okay.
You're gonna say like, oh, Tyus Jones was at Apple Valley, so that means I can cheer for him. Oh my goodness.
All right, I gotta say, Falcon knew I liked Duke because I do wear Duke stuff and have it on my backpack. But I have always been raised a Duke fan. I love their coach, Grayson Allen. Little guy shooting threes. I know we're not going to talk about the three-pointer again. But before we get into it, not about me, the AP rankings top 15 teams. I'm going to tell you who they are. Obviously, there's preseason polls, and I want to know who you guys have. Like we do every time, different.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. So we got number 1, Bobbie's team, Duke. Number 2, Kentucky. Number 3, Kansas. 4, Villanova, the team that won it all last year. 5, Oregon. Number 6 is North Carolina. 7, Xavier. 8, Virginia. 9, Wisconsin Badgers. We don't have Leif in here today. And number 10, Arizona. So, guys, Falcon, who do you got? Who do you got looking that's going to go pretty far?
If I got to choose, I'm probably going to go with Kentucky just because year in and year out, Calipari's, he just reloads every year.
All right, bandwagon. That's a huge bandwagon.
Yeah, De'Aaron
Jeez,
Fox
talking
in
about
there, too.
bandwagons over here.
I'm not a college basketball
Don't try to
fan.
throw it off on somebody else.
All right, Thomas.
You asked me who I had.
I
I said
All right,
Kentucky.
Thomas.
I like Duke a lot. I mean, you add Tatum, Giles, and Marcus Bolden to already Grayson
Excuse me,
Allen.
who'd you say?
Is it Giles or Giles?
It's
Giles.
Who'd you say you had?
Giles. Duke.
Okay,
Duke.
okay, keep going. Keep going.
Sorry.
Jason Tatum. Harry Giles, is it?
Giles.
Giles. One of them.
Are you
Something
talking
like
about the
who
two
knows?
that-
And Marcus Bolden are the 3 big freshmen. They're all top 10 projected picks in the NBA.
They got the best recruiting class going
Yeah,
in.
Coach K recruited very, very well, and it's going to show. I like Indiana, though, too. They're my sleeper.
They're my sleeper. All right. Andrew, hockey fan over here. Got to talk a little bit of basketball.
I do watch a lot of college basketball, and I do love Duke. I love Coach K. But those freshmen make me really, really nervous. Giles's knee is a huge factor this season. If he can come back and he can play at the level he was at, they're going to win the national championship if they don't slip at all. They're going to go like it's going to be a Kentucky a couple years ago with Cat. But being from Wisconsin, I'm always a big Wisconsin fan, so I hope Nigel Hayes doesn't get suspended or something or taken out by the NCAA for all his actions because he's doing an awesome job down there in Wisconsin.
I gotta say, I was really sad to see that coach leave.
Yes,
It-
yeah.
he was one of those coaches that everyone remembers.
Yep, and the way he left, it was just bad.
I know. It's like,
That left bad taste in my mouth being a Wisconsin fan.
Yeah.
But they struggled during the regular season and then they picked it up in the postseason that last year, so that was nice. But
they're always a team I follow too. And then we got AJZ. Who you going with? Wait. Who did you say you had? I know you said Duke.
Duke's the favorite if those two freshmen.
I need one team. I can't go with two.
Duke.
Oh, okay. I like the squad we got today. AJZ, I know you're not going with two.
I'm gonna go Oregon. I like what they got.
What?
He always
Yeah.
throws
What?
us a curveball.
Oregon.
Always throws us a curveball on the show. Keep going.
Their preseason polls got them 5 in both the AP and the coaching rankings. They had a lot of depth at the small forward, I should say. They have 3 top 100 recruits adding to the team this year. 93 grade 5-star recruit Troy Brown Jr. And then they got Abu Kajab under him, and then they also added Victor Bailey Jr., who I think, and then maybe my memory serves me correctly, but they had a pretty good March Madness run last year.
They did.
Beating Duke? Question mark?
Question mark? They did.
Yes, they did.
But
They did.
this is the new
Completely different
season.
Duke
This is
team,
the
though,
new
this
year.
year.
We got new momentum.
I like
Here
it.
we go.
I just like what they got. They got guys who can shoot the ball. Now they're adding some height down low to protect the rim, and I think they're a team that could probably make a run.
All right, well, guys, games to preview for the weekend to start the college basketball tonight. We got Arizona State they're coming in at number 10 in the ranking against number 12 Michigan State. And
I
then,
think it's just Arizona, not Arizona State.
or is it Arizona? Excuse me.
Yep, you're right.
Thank you, Falcon. That's why we invite you on this show to correct me. Thank God we're not spelling on this show. Good job. So, one more time. Number 10, Arizona versus number 12 Michigan State, and number 3 Kansas versus number 11 Indiana. Guys, what do we see in these matchups? Obviously, it's early.
I'm excited for the Indiana game. I'm going to watch that. I love Indiana this year. I mean, OJ Anuabi, however you pronounce his name. I struggle with these names. Thomas Bryant, though, he's a monster. Is it Blackman, too, is out there as well in the backcourt for Indiana? They're a good team. They're kind of underrated, too, coming out of the Big Ten. I have them as my Big Ten favorite. They're going to beat Wisconsin.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited to see where Michigan State
Nope.
goes.
See,
Only because they
like-
had such a letdown season.
Well, they did, and I love watching Michigan State,
Me
but
too.
I hate it too because every year it seems like I pick them to like go all the way in my March Madness. Like every year I whittle it down. I'm like, well, let's try it again. It's gonna happen. No,
I love Tom Izzo, but he kills my bracket every single year.
What's the team that kills your guys' bracket every year? Is there what?
Michigan State, every year.
I think
Duke-
that kills
Duke-
my dad's bracket.
it seems like Duke every other year when they lose in the first round.
Exactly. Yes.
I know. I love the team, but it kind of just.
Arizona
Darn it.
kills me.
Well, guys, I know we could talk. We will be talking about this.
Yeah,
a
definitely,
lot.
for
But
sure.
we are gonna move on to some NFL. Vikings are kind of losing a lot of the Minnesotans' hearts. I would say, losing again.
People are falling
Anybody
off the
seen-
bandwagon left and right.
You guys seen the Water Boy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no, we suck again.
Yep.
2 games doesn't say a lot, but
The
they
Bears
have played.
and the Lions.
Okay, they have played
We're awful again.
absolutely terrible.
3-game
awful.
losing streak.
Absolutely terrible.
We went
But
from a defense that was regarded as one of the best, like top 10 in history, to that. We let Matthew Stafford use 23 seconds to throw to the 40-yard line, and then let Matt Prater kick a 58-yard field goal.
And then
After-
the
well,
disrespectful
And then-
touchdown by Golden
and
Tate.
then Golden Tate pretty much puts his hindquarters in the face of Sendejo and just hops into the end zone.
After-
it was
It is
it was
Sendejo in
disgraceful.
coverage.
after the defense plays for 45 minutes in a game, they're
Thank you.
dead.
Thank you.
The offense has to keep the defense off the field. Having the defense there for 3/4 of the game, you're gonna fail.
That is a way to look at it. I would say that. Am I right? I think they need to improve in all areas.
The offensive line.
I want to talk though about I wake up to a Twitter post
turnstile?
saying tryouts for the kicker position.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
Did you
can
hear what?
Explain that.
Did you
to me a
guys hear
little
about the
bit?
Concordia St. Paul kicker?
No.
He's like one of their
What, he went
top.
out?
He's one of their top picks to be the guy who replaces.
Well, did you hear what
No
Zimmer said
way.
after the game this past Sunday?
What?
So some reporter asked him in his press conference, so, Mike, do you think Blair can be a successful kicker in this league with the Vikings? His response was, yes, I believe Blair can be a successful kicker, but not with the Vikings. he didn't say now with the Vikings, just cut it off at that, but he didn't add with the Vikings. I think Blair's going to get the boot, no pun intended, but
I feel
I'm
bad.
here all week.
I feel bad for kickers because it always goes back on their shoulders. But another look at it is that they got one job. They got one job.
Yeah.
Job.
So I mean to keep having this, I think for him maybe you'd want to go to a new team. I don't know. He seems
A
like
fresh
a good guy.
start.
I think that missed field goal in the playoffs last year was a traumatic event for him.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
he
can-
need,
I
like
can agree with that,
not
yeah.
even joking. He needs to go to like a psychiatrist to get that problem fixed out.
Dude,
Because that's something that's gonna haunt him the rest of his career if he
He
doesn't get it.
thinks way too much too. I mean, you see Justin Tucker, one of the best kickers in the league. He's out there dabbing on the field for
Yeah,
the Ravens,
Justin
just dancing
Tucker's
around.
hilarious.
And Blair Walsh just sits there stoic on the sideline.
I want a
He's-
kicker like Marquette King, the punter for the Ravens.
Yes.
He's
so
riding the
awesome.
pony against
He's
the
so
Broncos. I
awesome.
couldn't believe it.
What I thought was interesting was down at Vikings training camp this past fall, every reporter down there kept asking him about that kick. I mean, it was nonstop asking how he got over it, and he was so confident with his answers. It was surprising how confident he was and how I thought this issue would be resolved, but obviously
He lit into reporters the other night.
Yeah, Didn't he say, "Why do you keep asking me the same exact questions every time?"
Yeah.
Well, it's like, how about you make a field goal,
Yeah.
or how about you kick an extra point? It's not that hard. It's probably pretty hard. I couldn't do it, but you get paid millions of dollars to do it. Just do it. It's
I mean, it's kind of like I kind of always resemble kicking to the game of golf. Anyone who's played the game of golf, it's the biggest mind game in the world. It's you against yourself, and put yourself on the line, and the last thing you're thinking about is your failure. It's a complete human thing. I can see where this guy's coming from. I think Falcon nailed it right on the nose when he said that, he's thinking about what happened, and I think that's exactly it. So I don't know. I don't know if he ever is going to be a good kicker or what's going to happen, but we're going to move on. Vikings are losing our hopes, but we had, what else are we going to talk about? Ravens beat the Browns last night. Does anyone have those guys on your fantasy teams?
Man, I'm
but
so
I
excited for Cleveland this year. This is such a huge loss. I mean, they're such a big contender.
For the number one pick?
What are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got it locked up.
I saw a stat. I couldn't believe that for the first time in their franchise history of 66 years, this is the first time they've gone 0-10. I feel like that. Yeah.
They're going to try to challenge the Detroit Lions for the worst record in NFL history.
Well, I mean, the coach.
So bad.
They're so bad. Like,
Guys.
you can't roll 2-3 rookie quarterbacks and then switch back to the veteran. They got a turnstile in the backfield.
Did you see their left guard last night? That video of the left guard?
He literally just stands there, watches the guy sack the quarterback, and then he's
stood there
like
blocking Noah. It was like on Madden when your
was
lineman
so
is just standing there.
He's
another
glitched
gamer.
out.
But let's just think about how well they're set up for the future. Because didn't they? What did they trade away? The first or second overall pick in this past year's draft?
who'd they get?
I know they got a lot of first round picks like in the coming
Oh,
years.
that's right. Yeah,
They
you're
traded
right.
the second overall, I believe, to the Eagles
Yeah,
Was it-
but
yeah,
for Wentz.
but they-
for next year's first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're going to have two
then-
firsts in this draft.
Yeah, and then they have like I think they got like a fourth, and they got like a
Something like
second-
that, yeah.
They got
All
like
right, guys.
yeah.
I'm gonna cut you short on this one too. I'm sorry, but we're gonna move on to one more thing. I want to talk about college football before we end our show. And
There we go.
I'm glad that Falcon's in here for this big college football guy over here. Thomas, I'm glad you're in here because I said that Nebraska was gonna beat Ohio State last weekend. Do we remember that score? It was Ohio State killed Nebraska. 62.
Wait, time out. I wasn't on here last week. You actually said that?
I'm always choosing for the underdog.
You can't blame Bobbie.
But you go
that.
for the
Armstrong-
bandwagons.
Or the
Armstrong
bandwagon.
got
I'm
hurt.
either one or
my
the other. I just don't know what to
Goodness,
choose.
Bobbie.
When Armstrong got hurt, that game was over.
Yeah.
So that's not your fault. When
Thank
Armstrong got
you.
hurt, that game was absolutely over.
Ohio State had been like oppressed the
Ohio,
past 2 weeks.
Ohio State lost to Penn State.
Yeah, but they've been oppressed. Do you
Penn
think
State
they're gonna
got
let
killed
Nebraska
by-
walk all over them? No.
They let Penn State walk all over
I
them.
know. I had to add that in
But
there.
exactly.
Guys.
That's exactly the reason why they're not going to let Nebraska do it. I'm surprised they even let Nebraska get on the board.
Hey, guys, they are doing pretty good for a state that not a lot goes on there.
Oh,
That's
they
why
love,
I was cheering
they
for
love
them.
their football.
They do. Besides that, and they have a pretty good women's golf team. But anyways, college football, Clemson, they will lose 4 top players next year. That's obviously not a surprise. But my question is this. Do you guys think there should be more? I know there's rules in football about when you can leave for the pros or whatnot. What do you guys think of those rules?
I don't know what is the rule. Can somebody clarify that? for me?
You have to stay for 3 years
In school.
outside of high school. So you can be a redshirt
Redshirt.
sophomore at the absolute earliest.
Yeah.
I think that 3 years out is fine. You at least have some sort of a base for a degree, and you have a chance to think about after football. What I have a problem with is when you have people who are NFL ready, say like a Leonard Fournette or somebody like that as soon as he steps on that field that he's ready to go, he should be able to have the option to just go. I get that his body's not mature, but if he's somebody who is that ready, then you should just let him go.
Draft stock is probably the biggest thing. We saw that with Tyus Jones after what he won the March Madness like most valuable player or whatever.
Yeah, the Finals MVP or whatever it is.
Yeah, he should. I don't think he should have gone to the draft,
Oh,
but
no.
his draft stock is the highest that he was going to get. And I know that's college basketball, and they only have to do 1 year, which I still think is atrocious. I like what they got in college football. 3 years, like you said, it sets them up well on the educated front if their career doesn't pan out.
I think that football, am I right, AJ has the longest.
It's tied with baseball.
Okay.
Baseball is 3. It's either you go straight out of high school or you play 3 years in college.
Okay,
Yeah.
I actually agree. I would say with that. But for basketball, after I think it's 1 year.
It's 1 year.
So that is
it's 1 year.
That's ridiculous.
I think that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Why would you even? Ben Simmons didn't even go to class last year. He didn't.
Yeah,
do you know that, Falcon?
he could have failed out. They don't even care. So
Okay, before we end too, I want to know some Heisman predictions here. Falcon, start us out, Mr. Football.
Deshaun Watson.
Wrong. Wrong.
go on.
Why?
Because I feel like he's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
Okay, all right,
What?
all right, AJ.
okay.
Z, who do you got?
He's got Deshaun Watson too, I hear.
Yeah, no. Lamar Jack. What? How is this even like? ESPN doesn't even have Deshaun Watson as number 2. They got Jake Browning, who is
Washington.
having
All right, I
a
gotta
very-
know quick, guys,
but
who you
No,
got?
it's Lamar Jackson. 26 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions.
Right.
He's a 91.8 QBR so far in the season.
All right, one more. What do you got?
Lamar
Andrew?
Jackson.
All right.
I mean, C.J. Beathard's playing good. No, Jake Browning, Washington.
Well, we will see where that goes. I know next week we'll talk more about college football. I wanted to start with something new, but I want to let our audience know that there is a lot of sports also going on around St. Cloud. The St. Cloud State football team, they close out their 2016 season this Saturday. They invite Minnesota Duluth. Duluth is coming in with a pretty good record. I think they are 9-1. So that will be a good test for them. Also, men's and women's basketball, they will be home this weekend at Hollenbeck Hall for people who want to go there. St. Cloud State men's basketball team, they look to pick up their first victory of the season as they host a tournament this weekend at Hollenbeck Hall. Like I said, the Huskies will take on Missouri Southern State at 7 tonight and 5 p.m. tomorrow. Women's will also be in action, but I want to thank you guys for listening to Sidelines. We love having you guys listen, and we will be back next week at 12:30.
Thank you for listening to Sidelines, your sound and sports alternative. That's 88.1 FM and HD St. Cloud, KVSC.